Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Gamertag Radio with your hosts, Danny Peña, Parris Lilly, and Peter Toledo.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 1359. This is your host, Danny Peña, and joining me here is Parris. What's up, Parris?
Hey, I just turned off my Xbox.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And by the way, for everyone who wants to know, that was some hurtful stuff Danny said to me. We was playing Call of Duty last night. He was like, just turn off your Xbox.
No, because you asked a question. How can I leave? How can I turn this off? I go, wait, how can I close the game or something like that? And I said, yeah, just turn off your Xbox.
What I was trying to do was, ladies and gentlemen, we're all in a party chat together and we're all in the lobby and Danny came in to play. So now there were 7 of us. And, you know, I was like, I'll leave. I volunteered to leave. And I'm thinking, I'll do something else in Call of Duty while they play. Right. So yeah. I'm like, how do I get out of basically the lobby that we're in Call of Duty? Because I haven't been playing, because I only started really playing since Modern Warfare 3 with this Game Pass stuff. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. But anyways, I don't know. Okay. I don't know the UI. And then Danny just turn off your Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best way, the quickest way, by the way. It's all good. By the way, there's no Pete. P is not here in this episode, but he's going to be on a future episode. And on this episode, this is pretty cool because I'm excited to talk about it. We got an opportunity to play Star Wars Outlaws. I also got to interview the developers and also Humberly González. She plays Vess from Star Wars Outlaws. And also, we also talked about a little bit about her character, Nyx. I know she was also one of the characters from Far Cry 5. We talked a little bit, Far Cry 6, I believe. And we talked a little bit about that too. So lots of fun. And yeah, we got to play the game now, like 3 hours or so for me? I don't know how long it was for you, Parris.
I played for 4.
4? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's probably like the same time and everything. So we really didn't talk about this, but originally back in the summer, early summer, during the Summer Game Fest, Ubisoft Forward, they also had demo stations at a different location. Where we also got to play Star Wars Outlaws there, and the level that we got to play there compared to this event, this one is a lot long. It's like a longer mission now. You get to see a lot more. You get to see more of the story, all that stuff. So, but yeah, we definitely want to talk about it. Now. This is also the first time that we're also trying out the open world part of the game because we have never got to see that. I was very, very curious about, out of all the things that I heard about this game, that was the one I'm like, okay, how open this world is. Like, how was your experience trying the open world part of the game for the first time, Parris? Because for me, I really enjoyed it. There was like a lot of things to do. It's not like a game like The Witcher where it's like way too many things. It's like you get overwhelmed with so many side quests and all that stuff. I think this is like, it's open, but I think they have like the perfect amount of quests, the ones that were available there when we got to play it. And it got me curious to do certain things, but I was focusing more on the main mission, of course. But how was your experience trying out the open world for the first time?
I need to see more because for me, being in the open world, I mean, sure, there's some things to do in there. I'm wondering how repetitive that potentially could be of doing those as we go to various planets. I don't know. Let's just jump right into it. So like I said, I got to play it for about almost 4 hours, and I did it over remote streaming because I did not go to the in-person event. So, with streaming, obviously there's a little bit of lag, things like that. But I mean, for the most part, playing it was just fine. But I'm not 100% convinced on this game just yet. I do it feels very Star Wars for people that are worried about that. This is a Star Wars game for sure. But we did the missions that I got to do, the open world stuff that I got to do. I mean, it's very Uncharted in a way. So I kind of dig that, but at the same time, I wasn't, like I said, I didn't feel like it was doing anything new in the genre. Let's put it that way, other than it being in the Star Wars universe. The mission seemed pretty straightforward. The puzzle elements in there seem pretty straightforward. Like I said, I need to see more of it. Do I want to play it? Yes, I do. Do I feel like now, I guess, even with Summer Game Fest, my 5 hours being able to play this game, it's something about it still just is not 100% hooking me just yet. I need more time in. Now, I will say one thing that I was actually disappointed in was the space combat. That I did not like playing in the game. I felt like that could have been tightened up. Could have been tightened up a little bit more. Like I said, with the open world stuff, I mean, they've definitely captured the essence of Star Wars in this. It felt like a Star Wars game. Felt like I was playing a Uncharted clone. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just worry about are they going to mix up the variety of this? That's my biggest thing as far as the gameplay goes. Going to these different planets, the open world activities that I'm going to have, the main story missions that I'm going to have, because being able to replay the one where you're on the ice planet, for lack of a better term, right? Where you go to that world, that mission, I'd play that at Summer Game Fest as well. So it was very just straightforward to me. I didn't feel like there was any I didn't have options. Let's put it that way. Is the word I'm trying to look for here, where it was straightforward mission structure, point A to point B, get out, and that was it. I mean, yeah, there's some side stuff that you potentially could do on that world. But like I said, again, how repetitive is that really going to be as we progress through the game? So I'm going to give this an incomplete. It's a preview anyways. This isn't a review, but I definitely need to see more of this game.
Yeah, I that's funny because we definitely had a conversation about that, like with friends, people that were there at the event. Like, I think a lot of us felt that way, where, you know, we were saying something was missing. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Right. Me personally, this is like me thinking about it right now. I think it's because we've been so used to playing, you know, Jedi characters, you know, that type of thing, where it feels a little bit different compared to this. Cause this is, you know, the character that we play, she's not a Jedi at all, you know? So I think that's the reason, maybe, you know, and also, maybe people are also comparing this to Jedi Survivor. You know, Jedi Survivor is a little bit more fast paced compared to this one. I think that's the problem, Parris. I think people are comparing it to that game, I think.
Well, see, and that's not it for me, because, I mean, you know, Kay's a smuggler, so think Han Solo in that type of vein, right? Which I'm fine with. Now, one thing I like the premise of, but I need to see how it plays out throughout the entire game, are the factions with the different gangs and stuff. Like, you can earn like favor with them, or you fall out with them, so you could go into certain areas of the game. Like, if you're in good favor with that gang, nobody messes with you, you can walk right in. But if you have a bad reputation with that gang, I mean, obviously everybody's going to be coming after you. How is that going to play out long term in the game? I need to see how that works, where you can obviously make certain choices and do things to either earn favor or lose favor with these gangs. I want to see how that plays out in the overall scope of the game versus the vertical slice of what we got. Like I said, this plays like Uncharted to me, which is not a bad thing. So I'm not like, I need a lightsaber and a Jedi. I don't care about that. I just worry about the variety of the gameplay loop doing this. Is this all this game is going to have to offer, or are we going to see more variety as we go to other planets, as we do more missions, things like that? Like Nix is the companion, right?
Yeah, companion. Yep, Nix.
Like I like the mechanic of that. There were some fun things that you could do with that, but then there were also a few confusing things, because there's stealth parts of the game as well, right? Where I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna use Nix to distract, and then I'm gonna do this, and then nope, because he alerted this person, now I got to start all over again. So it's like, that's obviously learning the game and how it works and how you use Nix, as a mechanic in the game. But I want to see how that plays out more. And again, this is a preview, and I know I feel like I'm being more negative on it, but I keep saying it, but I worry about the repetitiveness of this game. And to your point, like you said, the conversations you had with people, it just feels like something is missing from it that I'm hoping I've just not seen in the game yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think, to me, the game is fun. I really enjoy the voice acting, the characters that get to meet the game and everything like that. Now, the part where, and I even had this issue during the Ubisoft Forward, was one of the levels that we got to play is I noticed sometimes I will fall in certain areas, like out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, maybe I just got to get used to this. That happened a lot to me also during this preview event, for like the levels where you have to like climb higher, stuff like that. I will fall, my character will die. I have to like start from there, from the checkpoint and everything. That happened a lot. And I completely understand that part where you use Nyx and to distract like an enemy, but sometimes the enemy doesn't look at Nyx and sees me and they alert everybody, and it's like game over, mission fail, stuff like that happened a lot to me too. Again, this is a preview, maybe it's a bug or whatever. That's fine. But I think I'm happy with the amount of stuff that you do in the game, because look, I don't have time to do 100 something quests. I'm not, I don't have the time for that. But if there's like a certain amount of stuff that I could do on the side here and there, I don't have to, then that's fine. I'm okay. I'm more of like a main quest type of person. I just want to see how the story is and everything like that. So I enjoy that part. I just felt like there were certain bugs that kind of killed my vibe a little bit here and there. But again, this game is early, so we'll see once the full version of the game comes out, man. But overall, like, I really enjoy the characters, the voice acting, stuff you do in the game. I think, and here's the tricky part, Parris, it's Star Wars, so there's going to be a lot of stuff that Ubisoft doesn't want us to see, because they want us to see it when we get the full version, like surprises, cameos. Who knows? I think we're probably going to see Han Solo. I think personally, like, this is like me, just randomly guessing, but we might see characters from, because this takes place.
You're 100% going to see Han Solo because he's frozen in carbonite in the huts.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But and also maybe Chewbacca, you will see him in there. Because this also takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi there. Yeah. So, because I know there is a part in the game where you get to see Jabba the Hutt. I think there is a mission. There's a main mission with that character too. So we'll see. I'm excited to play more. I know I don't want us to focus a lot on the negative, but I completely understand where you're coming from. But I think I enjoy the game. Is it perfect as of right now? No. We'll see the full version once it comes out.
I will just put it this way, because I guess I'm bad cop on this episode, in that I've not seen enough yet. And I've played 5 hours of the game where I'm like, this is worth my time investment to play this. Again, if you love Star Wars, you're obviously going to be immersed into the Star Wars of things. Like, again, going back to the open world, and you're in these cities and stormtroopers are just casually walking around and you're hearing the chatter and the Jawas, oh, TD, and all that stuff. That's great. Yeah. Don't get me wrong at all. Even the traversal on like your speeder bike going through the open world was cool. It's cool to be in the world of Star Wars, in the universe of Star Wars. I cannot stress this enough. I worry about it being very repetitive with a lot of the mechanics and the gameplay loop that you have. I just need to see more. I need to see a different mission, a different variety. I need to interact with the Hutts, as an example. How is that going to work? Like, when I'm on Tatooine, like, I want to see the different variety of things in there. Maybe there is more to space combat than what we got to see when we got to play. I'm not saying this is a terrible game at all. I want to lower expectations of everyone. That I don't think, from what I played right now, this is going to be the greatest Star Wars game ever. I don't think that right now. I think it'll be a fun experience for sure, but I need to see more, because again, we're talking massive. These guys have made the Division games. They know how to do open world games. We know that. So I wasn't getting that feeling just yet from what I played. So I need to see more.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, you tell me if I'm wrong, maybe they played it safe
They might have, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's how I mentioned that.
Yeah.
A couple people at the event were like, yeah, the game is fun, but I also feel like they played it safe. Like it's fun. If you're a Star Wars fan, I think you're gonna enjoy it. They might, I think you're gonna enjoy the open world and all that stuff. But I feel like it was very safe. It was very like there was no major risks. I think, like with Jedi Survivor, you could tell, okay, there's some stuff in there like, oh damn, this is cool. But at the same time, Parris, I also feel that there's certain things that Ubisoft doesn't want us to see that is a major spoiler that that's about the story, things that you do in the game. I also think about that too. So that's why, yes, this is a preview, but also going to wait until the full version of the game comes out. Maybe that is going to also help us change our opinion about the game too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anything else about Star Wars Outlaws before we go to the interview?
No, I think that's it.
All right, cool. All right, guys, we're going to go now to my interview with Navid. He's one of the developers at Ubisoft, and also Humberly González, the actress of Vess. And we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, so right now I got to play Star Wars Outlaws, and we have Navid, right? We met, was it for Far Cry 6
That's
during
right.
that time? Yeah, online though. And also Humberly González, right?
See?
From Venezuela, born in Venezuela, living in Canada.
No, I was born and raised in Venezuela.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
nice.
moved to Canada when I was 15.
Awesome. Now, first thing first, congratulations. Yes, actually, I was gonna ask you a question about the characters from Dani Rojas and also Vess from this game. What is it? Is there any? Because both of them are badasses, by the
I
way.
know.
So, is there any differences between the two?
Honestly.
Oh, get the mic.
Oh, yes. Microphone. Hello.
Yeah.
I got to spend a lot of time within that game, and even, Nisa, who played Danny, and as like protagonist women leading in a story that is also a hero's journey that is, in the video game industry. But Vess she is so expressive. I find that she can have her personality really be highlighted in this. She's sassy, she's witty, a bit of a, know-it-all. She finds herself in trouble so much. So there's less toughness. She has cracks in her armor, and that heart and vulnerability seep through a lot more than you would in a character like Dani Rojas, who has a bit more like combat training and like, kind of handling enemies in a very, very different way.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people would say that working on a project that Star Wars is like a dream come true, right? So I asked this question to Julian last year when the game was announced. Like, how was it for you finding out that you were going to work on this project?
Oh, it's funny because you read those interviews and you hear those things of like dream come true, and you're like, is it really? It absolutely is. I can confirm this. I'll never forget when you sort of get the call. It's like, do you want to work on this project? And blasted the theme music in my headphones and went and got a shawarma. That was like the first thing I did. And I was like, is this real? Is this real? But what was interesting is I gave myself a week consciously of like, okay, I'm going to freak out a little bit. But after that, you just sort of have to put it on the shelf because you can't really work like obsessing or worrying about sort of the Star Wars of it all. And really it became about what can we bring that's new? Well, okay, we're between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. We've seen that rebellion story. But what about someone like Vess, who's on the ground, who has her own struggle? And when she looks at the rebellion or the empire, these are people puppeteering the galaxy. That's not her world. I don't know how you felt when you first found out that it was Star Wars.
It was such a long process too. Like it must have been like 5 or 6 months of auditioning and working through the material in person, both in person and also like just through my iPhone in the initial audition. But, it was such a long process. And even before I heard from the last chemistry read to when I heard it, it had still been like 3 or 4 weeks. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I got it. Like as an actor, you don't really think about that and you kind of let things go. But when it inevitably came back to me, it was like, there's no way. And something I actually did during that process, I remember this because it was 2022, May 5th, one day short of May 4th.
One day short. So close. We tried to time.
I know. That was my last chemistry read. And I woke up that morning. It was a very early audition because I know that the team was, tuning in from Sweden. And I woke up that day and it was a beautiful, like sunny day. And I just had this instinct to record myself. And I made a video vlog for future Humberly, talking about the project, how I felt about it, not knowing it was Star Wars yet. And just saying, you did it and I'm proud of you. And that was it. It was like a moment of like, did I just disrupt time and space? Because it happened and I got that call and there was something in me that just knew like, yes, of course it's me. I felt it. I felt the alignment to Vess. And, that was the day that afternoon that I found out it was Star Wars. And it was just like, oh my gosh. I think I also blasted the music, actually. I think I did.
And I would say that Humberly as well, when we were doing auditions, we always saved it to the very end unless we were really, really certain. When we said it was Star Wars, she didn't flinch, because that's also a bit of a, well, are you okay to handle the sort of what that means and that kind of thing? And you just were like, all right, let's do this, right?
Let's play. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just love that the story is very, very different than the Star Wars stories. Like, what was it like? How was it working on like creating the new characters that part of this universe?
What you need an in. And I think, this is such a well-trodden ground, this sort of period in time between Empire and Jedi, that for us, it really became about relatability. It became about what's happening to the people on the ground while all of this, craziness is happening within the galaxy. And so when we honed in on that, we thought, okay, someone like Kay, who is a street thief, essentially, who is on this sort of journey to become an outlaw, who is dreaming of freedom, but freedom from a different perspective. And that's how we approached each character, where this isn't about freedom of the galaxy. This is about freedom for Kay herself and what it means to be free. Take that, you put it on a character like ND5, who, was a BX commando in the Clone Wars, always used to taking orders. He's now taking orders from a criminal like Jalen Vrax. So with every character, it was, well, how do I relate to them? How do I connect to them? And I think it really is, these characters are one of us. These characters are the folks that are kind of dealing with the fact that the galaxy is being pulled on a string. And so I think that was it. It was it for us, was just that relatable aspect.
And for you, I know during the panel, you mentioned, as a proud Latino, very, very proud to be part of this. Now, there's not that many Latinos in Star Wars. Oh. And for those who don't know, in Spanish, it's
Guerra de las Galaxias.
I was going to ask you, like,
of course, that was my entire introduction to Guerra de las Galaxias. It was all in Spanish, and I was a kid, and all of the names, we have Arturito, who the names that we thought were the names that we didn't. Vess. We found that out. A fan online was like, "Did you notice that Vess sounds like Vess? What are you looking at?" And I'm like, "That is so K." She would go up to someone and be like, "What are you looking at? Vess?"
Yeah.
And it was such a little moment of subliminal messaging that, like, hey, maybe I was always meant to play this, and she was always meant to be Latina.
No,
so
I mean, feeling of being part of this project, being Latina, because there's not that many Latinos in.
I know.
Part of the story.
I don't know if it was never the intention. I don't think. I think whoever just had the right energy and was going to bring that character to life. I love that the team was open to whoever it is. I love that it was me, and it was a Venezuelan, let alone, because even Venezuela is so underrepresented in the industry. And me being an actor now in the last, I guess, almost decade of my career thus far, I've always tried to bring Venezuela to the forefront, to share what that means to me. And I haven't been back home in that exact amount of time. So it keeps me connected to my roots. It's a connection to my family. The fact that I get to create projects so far away and they got to go to the movies and see it. They get to play the game and see it and know that they're still connected to me somehow. I think being an immigrant can be so difficult that being an artist does have, that connectivity. It's like a spider web from all of these projects and bringing it back home. And it's honestly an honor. It's a huge representation. I've had a lot of Latino and Hispanic fans online just be so proud. They're always like, de punto fijo al espacio. And it's just like, I know what it would feel like for them, because if I saw a Venezuelan leading something like this, I would be their biggest fan instantly. And I would feel so proud. Even if I didn't know them, it would feel like I'm a part of that. I just want people to see themselves in spaces like this, that Latinos do deserve to be in leading roles and they can bring stories like these to life.
Yeah, I've been playing the game for a couple hours. Phenomenal job. So, yeah. So let's talk about Nyx, your partner. So your relationship between you two, and what you can tell us about that.
It's amazing. I mean, knowing that you have almost this very cute creature who's also very vicious. They're a soundboard. And it's like, yes, Kay is a bit of a lone wolf and she wants freedom for herself, but she also has this big heart that with Nyx, it's her family. She's so protective, and you get to see her interact with Nyx in a very different way than she interacts with everybody else in Star Wars and in this universe specifically, whether they're a crime syndicate or, someone on a cantina or a bartender, whatever it is. She has this armor of toughness and grit. When it comes to Nyx, you see her be softer and protective and almost motherly. And I think it's so great because I do think Nyx is a mirror of her. When Kay has to put up a strong face, Nyx will be scared, and she kind of looks at him and goes, it's okay, buddy. We'll be okay. You feel the nervousness of her too. It's like, if Nyx is feeling something, Kay probably is too. They're that connected, and it's so great to see them in this duo kind of interact in this world. Everything that he does is jumping on her, jumping on the speeder, following around. He gets jealous and hungry and defensive and scared. So it just, I think, adds to the world of Star Wars. There's always, they can call them sidekicks or comrades or anything, but in this story, I think they are so united like family.
That's awesome. And I was gonna ask you, Navid, this is it the first Star Wars open world game?
This is absolutely the first Star Wars action adventure open world game, and I think from the beginning, that's infused everything we've done. And I think, just even with Nyx, for example, the fact that, yes, you can be on this main quest journey, but, he might have some little surprises along the way that you want to go and explore. So yeah, it's been right from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, how was it like just working on having this open world and probably people sometimes when I play open world games, I see a lot of like quests and it could be overwhelming. Like, is it like that for this? Like, let's say like an RPG game, there's like so many things to do, or is this some of them like you could take your time, go and do these quests here and there if you want to? Or
a really big focus for us was really on quality over quantity, and really just making sure that every step of the way, if your curiosity was piqued, we would sort of reward that, and I think there is that main journey for Kay. There are sort of those lighthouse moments that we want players to hit, to feel that forward momentum. But it's Star Wars to be able to go off and explore the open world, to be able to meet an expert who's gonna help you gain a new ability and follow their journey. And so what was crucial was to wrap it in character. Everything is based around character, is all about just learning and progressing in Kay's journey and making sure that those that she interacts with, whether it's someone in a vendor stall or it's someone who's going to modify her speeder, is going to bring something new to Kay's story.
Yeah. My last question for you, for those that they have a dream to be part of a project like this, what advice would you give them?
There is such a thing as a superpower that we all possess, which is our self-belief. Believing that you can and saying yes to a dream that you have is already the first step. I was an immigrant. I never had an exposure to the industry whatsoever. And I went for it because there was just no option for me to not follow that dream. I said, look, if all else fails, I can go somewhere else. But I know that if I don't go for what I want, it's not going to be as fulfilling. And I was lucky enough that my dad actually encouraged that. And I think as immigrants and Latinos, that's a fear that I thought they would want me to be an engineer or a doctor or something that had more weight and value. But I think the arts have a lot of value and they can change people's lives. The stories that we tell unite us all. So for me, believing in myself, it was all mindset. Honestly, I think I always tell people and encourage them, if you want to do it and there's a calling for a reason, you got to go for it, and you do it courageously with your heart forward. And even if you're scared, you do it shaking. But there's not a day that I regret going into this, even through the challenges, which there have been many, of course. You deal with rejection and comparison. And at the end of the day, you realize that everyone has that special magic within them. So definitely go for it if that's your calling.
Manifest.
Yeah.
Right.
And you visualize it, you fight for it. It's honestly the secret is just to try. Say yes.
Yes, definitely. Well, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Congrats. Can't wait to play the full game.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, so that was my interview. Thanks to Ubisoft for the opportunity, for inviting us to play the game. Also, it was a lot of fun seeing everybody there, man. I haven't been at a Ubisoft event like that in a while, so it was really cool seeing everybody there, man. So it was really, really cool, man. Yeah, I have to mention that I love the setup that they had inside the venue. It felt very Star Wars, the hologram everywhere. They even had like a bar, mocktails, of course. The bar, you could go in there and, order some theme drinks. And yeah, it was really cool. Set up everywhere. You play the game. We captured lots of footage of the game, and I had a good time overall. We're being picky, of course, but I think once the game comes out, this might get like some 7s or 8s, maybe like an 8, maybe around there. My opinion. So far, if it continues like this, what you think? That's my prediction. I don't know your prediction.
And again, this is a preview. I want to stress
Preview.
this is
Preview.
not a review.
Not a review.
Of
preview.
what I played, this would probably fall in like a 7-ish up in there somewhere.
So like a 7.5, 8. And don't get me wrong, that's not bad. Hey, first Destiny, 6.5. One of the greatest game ever. So 7 is good. I think 7.5. I personally think it will be between 7.5 or 8, maybe, if it continues like this, So we'll see. We'll see. But everyone, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for listening to Gamertag Radio episode 1359. We'll be back next week with some other content. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.